Welcome back to ABCGH Spoilers channel. Today, we're diving deep into the tangled web of intrigue, betrayal, and suspense that has recently rocked the world of General Hospital. Prepare for a comprehensive analysis as we unravel the latest developments, examining every twist and motive, and exploring the shadowy figures who threaten the very core of Port Charles. The looming threat, Sonny Corinthos faces deadly danger. The tension in Los Angeles reaches a fever pitch as Sonny Corinthos, a man who has survived countless threats, now finds himself at his most vulnerable, hospitalized and recovering from recent trauma. The sterile silence of his hospital room is shattered when a mysterious figure, disguised in nurse's scrubs, slips inside. The promo video for the week leaves viewers breathless. The woman, bearing an uncanny resemblance to Colette Mororrow, prepares a syringe, its contents ominously unknown. Sonny's eyes snap open, his instincts kicking in, but will he have the strength to fend off this new assassin? Or will a last-minute rescue by Carly Spencer or another ally turn the tide? This moment is more than just a physical threat, it's a culmination of weeks of escalating peril. The use of medical subterfuge highlights the sophistication and ruthlessness of Sonny's enemies. The hospital, once a sanctuary, has become a battleground where every shadow could conceal an adversary. The suspense is palpable, echoing the classic soap opera tradition of ending scenes on dramatic cliffhangers, ensuring viewers remain glued to their screens. Unraveling the web, Colette Mororrow's rogue operations. Who is Colette Mororrow, really? Once seen as the dutiful deputy chief under Jack Brennan at the WSB field office, Colette has repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to go rogue. Her recent actions, firing on Valentine Cassadine in Prague, for instance, were not sanctioned by Brennan, raising questions about her true loyalties and motivations. Even Brennan, a man not easily rattled, was caught off guard by her unpredictability. Colette's rogue behavior suggests a complex character operating with her own agenda. Is she a double agent, or perhaps even a triple agent, weaving alliances and betrayals with equal ease? Her ability to act independently of Brennan's orders hints at a deeper backstory, possibly involving hidden vendettas or secret partnerships. The possibility that she could be working for another villain, such as Jen Sidwell, cannot be dismissed. Alternatively, could the WSB itself have dispatched her on a covert mission, keeping Brennan in the dark to protect their own interests? The penthouse explosion, a calculated attack. The devastation wrought by the explosion at Sonny's penthouse marked a turning point. The blast, executed with a device so sophisticated it left no trace, was a clear message. Sonny's enemies are both resourceful and relentless. Michael Corinthos, caught in the inferno, now fights for his life, adding a deeply personal stake to the ongoing conflict. Investigators quickly traced the origins of the explosive to the WSB, but the trail went cold. No evidence, no witnesses, just smoldering ruins. The timing of Jen Sidwell's move into Windermere on the same day as the explosion raises suspicions about his involvement. Is Sidwell orchestrating a campaign to seize control of Sonny's criminal empire, or is he merely a pawn in a larger game? Colette's role in the attack remains shrouded in mystery. Was she the one who provided the device, acting as a corrupt agent? Or did she facilitate the attack for reasons known only to herself? The possibility of a clandestine relationship between Colette and Sidwell adds another layer of intrigue, suggesting that personal motivations may be as important as professional ones. Power struggles and shifting alliances. The chaos unleashed by the explosion and attempted assassination has far-reaching consequences. Port Charles is a city built on alliances, secrets, and shifting loyalties. As Sonny recovers, his focus will inevitably shift to identifying the mastermind behind the attacks. The stakes are higher than ever, with control of the city's underworld hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, the WSB's internal politics come into play. Brennan's inability to control Colette undermines his authority and exposes vulnerabilities within the organization. If the WSB is fractured, who else might exploit the chaos? Could other factions emerge, each with their own designs on Port Charles? Personal stakes and emotional fallout. Beyond the machinations and violence, the human cost of these events cannot be ignored. Michael's critical condition weighs heavily on his family, uniting them in their determination to see him recover. For Sonny, the attacks are not just professional threats, they are deeply personal. Each attempt on his life, each betrayal, chips away at his sense of security and trust. Carly Spencer, now entangled with Brennan, faces her own dilemmas. Is her relationship with Brennan a liability, or could it become an asset in the fight to protect Sonny? The emotional complexity of these relationships adds depth to the narrative, transforming it from a simple tale of good versus evil into a nuanced exploration of loyalty, love, and survival. Invented elements and analytical deep dive. Let's imagine a new twist. What if Colette's actions are driven by a secret vendetta against the WSB itself? Perhaps she lost someone dear to her due to a botched agency operation and now seeks to undermine the organization from within. This motivation would explain her willingness to act independently, even recklessly, and her apparent disregard for Brennan's authority. Alternatively, consider the possibility that the hospital attack was a diversion. While all eyes are on Sonny's bedside, another plot unfolds elsewhere in Port Charles, perhaps a coordinated effort to seize control of a key asset, such as the city's docks or a major financial institution. This would elevate the stakes, transforming the conflict from a personal vendetta into a full-scale power struggle with far-reaching implications. Analyzing each section, we see how the writers employ classic soap opera techniques, cliffhangers, dramatic reversals, and overlapping storylines to maintain suspense and viewer engagement. The use of red herrings, such as Sidwell's ambiguous motives and Colette's unpredictable behavior, keeps the audience guessing and ensures that no character's fate is ever truly secure. As Port Charles reels from the latest wave of violence and betrayal, one thing is certain: the story is far from over. The coming weeks promise new revelations, shifting alliances, and perhaps even redemption for some of the show's most troubled characters. Will Sonny emerge stronger, or will his enemies finally succeed in bringing him down? Can Colette be trusted, or is she the architect of chaos? Next, we're diving into the tangled web of secrets, heartbreak, and family revelations swirling around the Quartermain and Falconeri clans. Buckle up, because the truth about Gio Palmieri's origins is about to rock Port Charles like never before. The emotional fallout, when truths erupt. Imagine the emotional aftershocks when a long-buried secret finally detonates. If Gio discovers he's not the biological son of the woman who raised him, the devastation could be profound. The revelation would ripple through the Quartermain mansion, shattering trust and reshaping relationships. Brooke Lynn, who has unknowingly lived under the same roof as her own son, would be forced to confront years of lost moments and maternal longing. Dante, blindsided by the knowledge that he fathered a child as a teenager, would grapple with betrayal and regret. Especially since he was kept in the dark by those closest to him. The sense of familial unity could fracture, leaving wounds that may never fully heal. But the consequences wouldn't stop there. Lois Cerullo, who orchestrated the adoption and kept the secret locked away, would face the wrath of her daughter and the guilt of a mother's deception. The domino effect could put several relationships in jeopardy, with unintended consequences spiraling far beyond what anyone anticipated. Secrets, lies, and the price of silence. The intricate web began years ago, when Brooke Lynn Quartermain and Dante Falconeri, childhood friends turned summer camp sweethearts, conceived a child as teenagers. Fearing scandal and unprepared for motherhood, Brooke Lynn turned to her mother, Lois, for help. The pair decided on a secret adoption, with Lois ensuring the records were sealed and the truth hidden from all but a select few. Brooke Lynn returned home, resuming her life as if nothing had happened, but the emotional cost of that summer would haunt her for decades. Lois's decision to give the baby to a family friend, rather than through official channels, added layers of complexity. When Joe's adoptive mother passed away, the family rallied to raise him, with Sonny Corinthos stepping in to support his education and musical ambitions. Still, only Lois, her mother Gloria, and their trusted lawyer Martin Gray knew the full story. The investigative spark, Lulu's relentless pursuit. Enter Lulu Spencer, whose knack for uncovering secrets rivals any detective in Port Charles. Lulu's curiosity was piqued when she stumbled upon notes in Martin Gray's suite, revealing that Brooklyn had given birth to a baby boy in San Francisco. Sensing something amiss, Lulu began connecting the dots, especially after witnessing Lois's anxious behavior during family gatherings and the oddities in Joe's supposed birth story. Lulu's investigative instincts drove her to dig deeper. She realized that the timeline of Joe's birth coincided suspiciously with the child Brooklyn gave up for adoption. Her suspicions grew as she observed the uncanny bond between Dante and Gio, noting their similarities in mannerisms and temperament. Lulu's determination to uncover the truth only intensified, especially as she considered the impact this secret could have on Dante, whom she still cares for deeply. Confrontations and confessions, the tipping point. Unable to ignore the mounting evidence, Lulu confronted Lois Cerullo. The confrontation was charged with emotion. Lois, cornered by Lulu's relentless logic, struggled to maintain her composure. Lulu laid out the facts, arguing that the coincidences were too significant to ignore: Joe's age, the circumstances of his adoption, and Lois's consultations with Martin Gray all pointed to one conclusion. Lois, realizing the jig was up, broke down and confessed the truth, pleading with Lulu to keep the secret a little longer. But Lulu, guided by a strong sense of justice, believed that Dante and Brooklyn deserved to know the truth about their son. The confrontation left Lois reeling, aware that her actions could cost her everything: her relationship with her daughter, her grandson's trust, and her standing within the family. The Quartermaine mansion, a powder keg of emotions. As the secret teetered on the brink of exposure, the Quartermaine mansion became a powder keg. Dante and Gio, unaware of their true connection, continued to bond, with Dante taking a paternal interest in Joe's well-being. Brooklyn, meanwhile, struggled with her own guilt and the fear that her carefully constructed world could collapse at any moment. Chase, Brooklyn's husband, found himself caught in the crossfire. Unable to have children of his own, he had come to terms with Brooklyn's past, even agreeing to keep her secret from Dante. But as the truth threatened to surface, Chase faced the possibility of losing Brooklyn to her former flame, Dante, as the two might reunite over their shared son. The birthday bash, where secrets are laid bare. All roads led to Dante's birthday celebration, hosted by Sonny Corinthos. Family and friends gathered, but beneath the festive atmosphere, tensions simmered. Brooklyn and Chase's private discussions hinted at impending upheaval. The stage was set for secrets to spill, whether through a heated confrontation, an accidental overheard conversation, or a moment of emotional vulnerability. Soap opera tradition holds that major revelations often erupt during significant events, and Dante's birthday bash was no exception. The possibility loomed that Lulu, pushed to her limits, might finally reveal the truth, or that Brooklyn herself could break under the weight of her conscience. Either way, the fallout promised to be dramatic, altering the course of multiple lives in Port Charles. Invented insights, psychological ripples and future possibilities. Let's imagine the psychological impact on Gio, who has always believed he was born in Los Angeles to a musician mother. The shock of learning his entire identity was a fabrication could send him into a spiral of self-doubt and anger. He might question every relationship, every memory, and struggle to trust those who kept him in the dark. Therapy sessions, fraught conversations, and a journey of self-discovery would likely follow, as Gio sought to reconcile his past with his new reality. For Brooklyn, the revelation could trigger a deep sense of loss and longing for the years she missed as Joe's mother. She might attempt to forge a new relationship with her son, but face resistance from Gio, who feels betrayed. Dante, meanwhile, could find himself torn between anger at the deception and a newfound desire to build a family with Brooklyn and Gio. Lois, caught in the crosshairs, would have to navigate the fallout of her choices. She might seek redemption by supporting Gio and Brooklyn, but the road to forgiveness would be long and fraught with challenges. Detailed analysis, the broader impact on Port Charles. The exposure of Joe's true parentage would not only reshape the lives of those directly involved but also send shockwaves through the broader Port Charles community. Sonny Corinthos, who has played a paternal role in Joe's life, would need to adjust to the new family dynamics. Olivia Quartermaine, Lois's best friend and Joe's grandmother, would feel the sting of betrayal, having been kept in the dark for so long. The Quartermaine estate, always a hub of drama, would become ground zero for emotional confrontations, reconciliations, and new alliances. The revelation could even inspire other characters to re-examine their own secrets, leading to a cascade of confessions and reckonings across the canvas of General Hospital. As the dust settles, one thing is certain: the revelation of Joe's true parentage will forever change the landscape of Port Charles. The characters will be forced to confront their past choices, forge new paths forward, and discover whether forgiveness and healing are possible in the aftermath of such seismic shocks. Next, we will dive deep into the tangled web of alliances, betrayals, and emotional showdowns that are rocking Port Charles. This episode, we'll unravel the latest developments in Willow Corinthos' life, her shocking request to Jason Morgan, Carly Spencer's explosive reaction, and the ripple effects threatening every relationship in their orbit. Drew's promises and Willow's growing doubts. Drew Kane's steadfast vow to protect Willow and her children, Wiley and Amelia, once seemed like a beacon of security in her stormy world. He even convinced Willow to make him the children's legal guardian in case of her incapacitation, a move that initially appeared prudent but is now casting long shadows of doubt over Willow's heart. As Drew begins to assert his new role, Willow finds herself questioning whether she's handed too much power to a man whose motives may not be as pure as she once believed. The legal document, signed in a moment of desperation, now feels like a ticking time bomb, threatening to explode her fragile sense of control. Willow's anxiety is heightened by Drew's subtle but unmistakable maneuvers behind her back. She starts noticing changes. Drew's increasing involvement in her daily decisions, his assertive stance when discussing the children's future, and his quiet conversations with other family members that exclude her. These actions plant seeds of suspicion. Could Drew have a hidden agenda? Is he leveraging her vulnerability for his own gain? Willow's internal struggle intensifies as she weighs her trust in Drew against the warnings she's heard from those around her. Michael's recovery and the looming custody battle. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos, still recovering from his traumatic injuries, remains fiercely protective of his children. The idea of Drew stepping into a parental role, even temporarily, is anathema to him. Michael's recovery is slow but steady, and as he regains strength, so too does his resolve to reclaim his place at the center of his family. The news of Willow's legal arrangement with Drew is poised to ignite a firestorm. Michael would never willingly cede his parental rights, no matter the circumstances. The prospect of a custody battle looms large. Michael's determination is matched only by his deep-seated mistrust of Drew. He fears that Willow, in her quest for stability, is unwittingly setting the stage for a bitter legal fight that could tear their family apart. Friends and family brace themselves for the fallout, knowing that Michael's return could upend every fragile alliance. Carly's fury and Jason's mediation. Carly Spencer, ever the fierce matriarch, is incensed by Willow's decisions. Her protective instincts for Michael and his children drive her to confront Willow in a heated showdown that nearly turns physical. Only Jason Morgan's timely intervention prevents Carly from crossing a line she can't uncross. Jason's presence is a calming force, diffusing the tension before it erupts into violence. Yet Carly's anger is not easily quelled. She views Jason's willingness to mediate as a betrayal. He should be unequivocally on Michael's side, not playing peacemaker in a conflict she believes has only one righteous outcome. Carly's trust in Jason is tested as she perceives his neutrality as weakness, or worse, disloyalty. The confrontation leaves both women shaken, the air thick with unresolved grievances and unspoken fears. Willow's shocking request to Jason. In the wake of the explosive confrontation, Willow turns to Jason with a desperate plea. She recognizes that Jason's unique relationship with Carly gives him the power to broker peace where others have failed. Willow's request is simple on the surface: help her keep the peace for the children's sake, but beneath it lies a complex web of motivations and anxieties. She hopes Jason can persuade Carly to back down, or at least to see reason, before the situation spirals further out of control. Willow's appeal to Jason is not just about conflict resolution. It's a tacit admission of her own uncertainty, her need for guidance, and her fear that she's made a grave mistake in trusting Drew. Jason, ever the pragmatist, is torn between his loyalty to Michael, his friendship with Carly, and his empathy for Willow's predicament. His involvement sets the stage for new alliances and fresh betrayals, as each character jockeys for influence over the future of Wiley and Amelia. Brennan's calculations and the Quartermain intrigue. Jack Brennan, observing the chaos from the sidelines, sees opportunity in the discord. He believes that Carly's aggression will only serve to provoke Drew, setting him up for failure and giving Brennan leverage in his own schemes. The Quartermain family, never ones to shy away from drama, are quick to insert themselves into the fray. Tracy Quartermain, in particular, acts as an information broker, ensuring that every secret and suspicion is weaponized to maximum effect.